She stood outside the massive iron gates, her clothes worn, her hair tangled, and her arms trembling from the weight of everything she carried, not just the battered backpack on her shoulder, but the years of pain, hunger, and survival. Her name was Eliza. The mansion towered before her like a castle out of a dream, or a nightmare, depending on how long she'd been without sleep. Its white marble pillars, the glistening fountain, the polished Rolls-Royce parked in the driveway, it all seemed so far from her world of shelters and soup kitchens. But she wasn't here to dream. As the security guard approached, stern-faced and ready to shoo her away, she raised her voice, trying to sound stronger than she felt. "Please. I'm not asking for money. Just a plate of food. I can clean. I can scrub floors, do laundry, anything. Just one plate. Please." The guard hesitated. People like her never came this far up the hill. They never even made it past the bus station miles below. Something in her voice stopped him. Or maybe it was her eyes, tired, but not broken. He turned toward the house and radioed in. Inside the mansion, Nicholas Graves, CEO of Graves Tech International, was sitting in his office overlooking the sea. The richest man in the region, known for his sharp mind, colder heart, and an empire built from nothing. Yet, despite all he had, peace always escaped him. When his house manager entered and quietly explained the situation, he didn't respond right away. He just stared out the window, watching the gray clouds gather over the horizon. Then, without looking back, he said something unexpected. "Let her in." Eliza stepped through the grand double doors with muddy sneakers and a bowed head. She clutched the straps of her backpack as her eyes adjusted to the gleaming chandeliers, glass staircase, and ivory floors. She expected someone else. A maid, perhaps. A butler. But when Nicholas himself walked down the steps, dressed in a black tailored suit, she froze. He was nothing like she'd imagined. His eyes, cold, sharp, studied her for a long, uncomfortable moment. But behind them, something flickered. Recognition? Shock? She couldn't tell. He spoke quietly, but with authority. "You want to clean?" "Yes, please," she said, her voice cracking. "Just for food. I can leave after. I haven't eaten in 2 days." A long silence followed. Then, to her surprise, he nodded. "The kitchen's that way. Rosa will fix you something. After that, the laundry room is in the back. You can start there." She blinked. "You'll let me work?" "For a plate of food," he replied. "That's what you asked, isn't it?" And with that, he turned and walked away, though not without glancing back once, as if seeing a ghost. In the kitchen, Rosa, the cook, handed Eliza a steaming bowl of soup and a slice of bread. Eliza ate slowly, savoring every bite, trying not to cry as the warmth spread through her chest. She didn't ask for more. She didn't ask questions. The moment the bowl was empty, she got up and asked for cleaning supplies. By sunset, she had cleaned 2 bathrooms, folded 6 baskets of laundry, and polished the silver in the dining room. She moved like someone who'd done this before, not out of habit, but out of desperation. Nicholas watched her from the second-floor landing. Every movement. Every step. Every time she stopped to catch her breath or stretch her aching hands. And the more he watched, the more haunted he looked. Later that evening, as the staff gathered to leave for the night, Nicholas remained in his office. But before Eliza could slip out quietly with the sunset, Rosa stopped her. "Mr. Graves wants to see you." Eliza swallowed hard. She expected to be scolded, maybe told she didn't do enough or that she'd missed a spot. But when she entered his office, the look on his face was different. Almost vulnerable. "Where are you staying?" he asked. I usually sleep near the docks. There's a shelter, but it's full this week." Another long pause. He leaned back, steepling his fingers. "You can stay in the guest house tonight. It's clean, warm. There's food in the fridge." Eliza blinked, unsure whether to trust him. "Why?" she asked quietly. He didn't answer. Just nodded. That night, Eliza slept in a real bed for the first time in years. But what she didn't know, what no one knew, was that Nicholas Graves wasn't just being kind. He wasn't helping a stranger. He was staring at a memory. A wound. A past mistake that money couldn't fix. 15 years ago, he had walked away from someone. Someone who looked very much like Eliza. Someone he had loved once, but not enough to stay. Back then, he had chosen ambition over love. Power over people. He left the girl he loved behind, without knowing she was carrying his child. The girl's name had been Natalie. And she had disappeared after he left. Now, standing in front of him was a young woman with Natalie's eyes. Natalie's voice. Even her mannerisms. So, he had to know. The next morning, Nicholas had one of his assistants quietly collect a hair strand from Eliza's hairbrush in the guesthouse. A DNA test was run. No questions asked. 3 days later, the results came in. Eliza wasn't just a stranger. She was his daughter. Nicholas Graves, the ruthless billionaire CEO, froze. He stared at the paper for almost an hour, hands trembling. All those years. All that time. She had been out there, homeless. Hungry. Alone. While he built his empire brick by brick, she had been sleeping on concrete. The guilt hit him like a freight train. He asked Rosa to keep Eliza at the estate, offer her small tasks, pay her a little more, feed her well, keep her safe, but not tell her anything. Not yet. Because how could he? How do you tell someone that the man who gave them life also gave them nothing else? Eliza, meanwhile, couldn't understand why her simple offer to clean had turned into steady work, 3 meals a day, and a safe place to sleep. She didn't question it, not at first. But after 2 weeks, she began to wonder. Why was he watching her? Why did he sometimes stop mid-conversation with staff just to glance at her? And why, when he thought no one was looking, did his face look like he was drowning? Then, one evening, while walking past his office, she heard her name. "She doesn't know," Nicholas was saying into the phone. "She thinks I'm just letting her work here, but how do I tell her? How do I tell my own daughter that I abandoned her before she was even born?" Eliza stood frozen, her body numb. Daughter? She stepped back, the walls spinning. Her heart pounded in her ears. She didn't wait to hear more. She ran out the door, down the driveway, past the fountain, into the darkness. And Nicholas? He didn't realize she had heard, until the next morning, when Rosa knocked on his office door and said quietly, "She's gone."